Welcome in the Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today, the Pittsburgh Steelers made 5 roster moves. I'll let you guys know what those are at the top of today's show. Then we'll discuss whether or not the Steelers should make yet another free agency signing and bring in Christian Wilkins. And then we'll finish up today's show with some major Week 3 injury updates. Derrick Harmon returned to practice. A couple more injury updates from Foxborough in New England. So make sure you guys stick around for those injury updates. But we are doing a new subscriber battle with our frenemies at the Patriots today. That is our Patriots channel here at Chat Sports, and the winner is going to be the channel that adds the most new subscribers throughout this week. The winner is going to be crowned when the ball gets kicked off on Sunday. So right now we are currently just 8 subscribers behind Patriots today right now, guys. So new viewers, we are counting on you guys. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, only you guys can help us beat the Patriots. The real ones that have already clicked that subscribe button, they can't help us out here. So if you watch our videos, you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, but you want to enjoy our free Steelers content here every single day, and you want to help us beat the Patriots this week, make sure you click that subscribe button and join the Steelers Talk family today. So the Steelers made 5 roster moves today, ladies and gentlemen. They signed Bentley, the inside linebacker, to the practice squad, as well as Isaiah Hodgins, the wide receiver, the 2 big free agency signings that they made yesterday. And then they also signed Matt Sokol to the practice squad. He's more of a true practice squatter guy. I would expect Bentley and Hodgins to eventually work their way onto the 53-man roster. If not this week, then in the weeks to come. They also signed DeMarvin Leal, the edge rusher, to the 53-man roster with Alex Highsmith dealing with an injury. And then they placed Isaiah Loudermilk, the defensive tackle, currently dealing with a high ankle sprain, on injured reserve, which will keep him out of the lineup and off the roster for at least the next 4 weeks. Now, my thoughts on some of these moves, guys. I think that Bentley likely won't play much versus the New England Patriots. Now, I understand, guys, that this Steelers run defense needs help at that linebacker position but I mean, Jabril Peppers came here around the same time that Bentley did, and he wasn't able to pick up enough of the playbook and for this coaching staff to trust him enough to give him a workload on defense. So Bentley here, linebacker, there's a lot of stuff that you have to learn as a linebacker in any NFL defensive scheme, the terminology, the communication. There's a lot of different stuff that Bentley's going to have to learn before the Steelers can trust him out there. So I'm not sure if we see him too much on Sunday. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll see how quickly he picks it up. But if he doesn't, look for Cole Holcomb to get some more work this week. He actually played pretty darn well. Now, he had one really bad rep. I think it was his first rep of the game, and it was his first actual game rep in a while, where he was backpedaling and just wasn't looking very good. He looked a little bit scared to hit somebody, but then he settled down a little bit. And when he was on the field, guys, I believe that the Seattle Seahawks rushed it 4 times when Cole Holcomb was on the field. They only had 12 yards on those 6 carries, and then the 3 carries where it was Cole Holcomb and Patrick Queen on the field, they had 1 yard on those 3 carries. So I think Cole Holcomb provides a lot more stability in terms of run defense than, say, Peyton Wilson has brought us over the first 2 weeks. So I think even if Bentley doesn't play on Sunday, I would expect Cole Holcomb to step inside that early down role, with Peyton Wilson probably taking on more of a later down role, or at least that's what I would do if I were in charge of the defensive personnel of the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. And then my thoughts on Isaiah Hodgins, guys, is I think it's a nice signing for what he is. And I can already see the sarcastic comments right now saying, oh, yeah, another wide receiver 4 or 5 type guy. But it's like the Steelers like their number 2 and number 1 receivers right now. Obviously, guys, DK Metcalf as their 1, Calvin Austin as their 2. They believe in those 2 guys. So finding a supplementary piece here, somebody that can play X if DK Metcalf gets injured, that's something that this team really didn't have before. So you get that here in Hodgins. He brings some really good size to the table, but also he brings a short and intermediate route running skill set that not a lot of people on this Steelers roster have. He's also a really good run blocker, so if you want to use him out there in 12 personnel in those condensed looks where you're expecting your wide receivers to be run blocking, he can provide some help there. He's also got good hands to help out in the red zone on 3rd downs, make tough catches, that sort of stuff. Now, he's not a vertical threat. He doesn't have any long speed really whatsoever to talk about, but I think he's a very serviceable, rotational, and depth wide receiver that I think fits in well with what the Steelers are are looking for from this position. They weren't really looking for like a starting quality caliber kind of guy because they believe in Calvin Austin III as their number 2. They believe in Roman Wilson to some degree, and they also really like Jonnu Smith as kind of like a hybrid wide receiver tight end piece. So Hodgins is somebody that I think provides that backup X that this team has been looking for a while. And at the end of the day, it's probably going to be like the vet minimum here, guys. So adding a depth piece, I have no problem with this signing. And then when it comes to DeMarvin Leal being placed on the 53-man roster this week, please, God, keep our outside linebackers healthy. I'm talking about TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, and Jack Sawyer. Please keep that trio safe and healthy this weekend because DeMarvin Leal, if he has to play significant snaps in a rotational role this weekend at any point during the game, that's going to mean a lot of bad things for the Pittsburgh Steelers because he's just not it, guys. He's just not. But the biggest impact, let me know down there in the comments section, between the 3 new veteran signings the Steelers have made, which one is going to make the biggest impact on this team this season? Type JP if you think Jabril Peppers, type IH if you think Isaiah Hodgins, or if you think Jawan Bentley is going to come in here and completely transform the run game here in Pittsburgh. Type JB down there in the comments section. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Mando before we get into some Christian Wilkins discussion here. But while I'm going over Mando here, answer this pinned question down there in the comments section. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor today at Mando Whole Body Deodorant. You guys know the feeling, man. It's game day and you've been working hard all week and your lucky jersey, well, it might be smelling a little too lucky if you know what I'm saying. Let's be honest, guys. Regular deodorant doesn't cut it. After a long day, things can get pretty ripe. But there's a real game changer, and that's Mando Deodorant Plus Sweat Control. This isn't just another cover-up, guys. Mando is one stick that does 2 jobs: powerful odor and sweat control. It actually stops odor before it even starts. No more masking, just freshness. This isn't your typical deodorant, ladies and gentlemen. It's clinical strength, so 2 times better at controlling sweat than the standard deodorant, and it controls both sweat and odor for 72 hours. And after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92% compared to the competitors. This stuff actually works, guys, which is why I have brought in my personal stick of Mando deodorant. I use this product every single day, guys. I also use their body wash. I always use the bourbon leather scent. It's absolutely fantastic, guys. I think it smells really masculine and clean, and it keeps me smelling fresh for up to 72 hours. So if you guys want to try Mando today, there's an awesome opportunity for you guys to try out their starter pack, and it's perfect for new customers because it comes with a solid stick of deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus you get free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code, and that code is CHAT at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness with our friends at Mando Whole Body Deodorant today. So now let's talk about another potential free agency signing that the Pittsburgh Steelers could potentially make. I've been seeing this idea being thrown around on Steelers Twitter a lot over this past week, especially with Keanu Benton not looking great at defensive tackle, particularly in run defense through these first few weeks. Christian Wilkins is still available in free agency, somebody that has been a very productive player in the National Football League for a very long time, and he is still available on the open market. You guys can take a look at his profile here. He's 29 years old. He's going to be turning 30 here pretty soon, but he's coming off a foot fracture that ended his 2024 season, and he wasn't, and according to the reports in Vegas this year, the rehab did not go well this offseason, and the Raiders surprisingly released Christian Wilkins this offseason in July, and he hasn't been signed by an NFL team since. Now, there was a lot of hoopla made about that. You know, Christian Wilkins didn't want to get another surgery. The Raiders did want him to get another surgery, which would have taken him out for a couple of months to start the season. No one really knows the health level of Christian Wilkins at this point, but you guys can take a look at his recent career stats. Last year, only 5 games played for the Las Vegas Raiders, but in those 5 games, he had 2 TFLs and 2 sacks, and then before that, man, he was one of the most ravenous interior pass rushers in the game. That's also an excellent run defender. 10 TFLs in 2023, 16 in 2022, and 10 in 2021, and that's to go along with the sack production. 9 sacks in 2023, which is what what got him all that money in Vegas in 2024. He's also somebody that has been pretty reliable to get 1 or 2 forced fumbles as well. So this is a very productive player that can theoretically come in and help an NFL team on the interior right away. You guys can take a look at his career PFF grading. Pretty darn good. It's gotten better throughout his career. Last year, a 74.7 grade in those 5 games that he played for the Raiders. And then the run grades are actually better for Christian Wilkins, actually. But guys, Christian Wilkins, in my opinion, is one of the best run defenders in the National Football League, at least in terms of interior defensive players. He's just very smart. He's savvy. He is very athletic. He can shoot gaps extremely well. And he's one of the best run defenders, period, in the National Football League today, or at least he was before his injury. And you guys can take a look at some of his career run defense grades here, where last year with Las Vegas, an 80.2 grade is excellent. And then he also put up an 80 PFF grade in terms of run defense in 2021 with the Miami Dolphins. So this is somebody that is a pretty darn good player when he is healthy. But, the thing about him is that I'm not sure if he's healthy, all right? And, if he is healthy and that foot's good to go and that rehab's all good to go, I'm perfectly okay with the Steelers throwing some money towards Christian Wilkins. He's a really good player. I think this team, especially with the injury to Derrick Harmon, could add another defensive tackle here. I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it if they bring in Christian Wilkins, especially for a team-friendly deal. But with Derrick Harmon likely coming back here soon, they like Y.A. Black quite a bit. Of course, they still like Keanu Benton. I'm not sure if the Steelers necessarily look at Christian Wilkins as somebody that they're looking to bring in at this point. And the reason why the Las Vegas Raiders moved on, guys, was apparently, Wilkins didn't want to get another surgery, and Las Vegas wanted him to, and there was this big kind of divide that came about because of that, and there was all these rumors spread around Christian Wilkins' behavior in the locker room that I won't repeat here. It's kind of just weird, but, this is certainly a good football player, so from a football perspective, if you're looking to add some more depth to your defensive tackle room, this is something that the Steelers could potentially do if, of course, Wilkins is healthy. I think that at the end of the day here, guys, like the reason why Wilkins has not been signed to an NFL team to this point, especially for a team like San Francisco that could really use some defensive tackle help. There's a number of teams that could use interior D-line help. Why hasn't he been signed yet? He wasn't even signed to a team during training camp or anything like that. It's probably because that foot injury that he's still dealing with is not going well. I mean, these Jones fracture types of injuries, they don't usually pan out well for these big type of players. And it certainly seems like that rehab is not at a place where Wilkins is ready to play NFL football. But if you're looking to add a defensive tackle, there are some other options that could play nose tackle out there right now. Linval Joseph is a longtime veteran. He is an old man at this point, but he is still big. He is large and in charge, and you could bring him in. He's got a ton of experience. Montravius Adams has played nose tackle in this defense for many years. Of course, the Steelers have looked to move off of him multiple times at this point, so maybe that's probably not their favorite. Carl Davis, Khalil Davis, and Keandre Coburn are some other guys that have played nose tackle that the Steelers can potentially look at here. But then you take a look here at the likely Week 3 defensive tackle rotation, guys, and it's looking like Derrick Harmon might play. He might not play. We'll see. If he doesn't play, that second wave is looking pretty sad. I mean, Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, Y.A. Black, that trio right there can work as your starting defensive line. But then, once you go to your second unit there with Daniel Ekuale, Logan Lee, and Ezesi Odomiwu, that's just not a great defensive tackle trio there that I'm sure the New England Patriots, even with their offensive line, can take advantage of this week if Derrick Harmon is not able to be out there. So that's a little bit of a concern heading into this Week 3 matchup. If Derrick Harmon cannot go, this team definitely needs their first-round rookie to get back as soon as he possibly can. And we'll talk about Derrick Harmon a little bit here in our injury news segment on today's show here on Steelers Talk. So let me know down there in the comments section, do the Steelers need another defensive tackle? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I certainly think the Steelers could use another defensive tackle. But with Derrick Harmon on the mend, something tells me that this team probably feels pretty good with that group right now. All right, so now let's get into some Week 3 injury updates here as the Steelers prepare to take on the New England Patriots. We'll start with the good news here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is that Derrick Harmon returned to practice today in a limited fashion. He did have a big, bulky knee brace on his knee, so when he comes back, he's definitely probably going to be wearing that brace. But getting him back, I cannot express enough how important that's going to be to get somebody that's over 310 pounds, as disruptive as he is, to help your run defense out. It's going to be huge, and that's not even counting the stuff he's going to bring to you as a pass rusher as well. That's really what his bread and butter was at Oregon, and I think he's going to be a big part of the future here in Pittsburgh. Still haven't seen him out there in the regular season, so really excited to see what this young man can do, and I'm really hoping he can go out there and play his career debut here versus the New England Patriots on Sunday. Speaking of the Patriots, Christian Gonzalez has been dealing with a hamstring injury here for a while, and he practiced today in Foxborough, so that's the first time he's practiced in a while, and he's certainly on the track here to potentially play on Sunday. If that's the case, you're going to have to deal with Gonzalez, and you're going to have to deal with Carlton Davis, two really good man-to-man corners, which means that if Gonzalez plays, I would expect Mike Vrabel and that Patriots defense to dial up a lot of man coverage. All right, DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin III, expect those guys to be covered by Davis and Gonzalez respectively, and especially because the safety play here in New England isn't fantastic, so I don't know how much they trust those guys in zone coverage. But when you've got a cornerback duo here and Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis that is healthy and is as good as they are, you really lean into those skill sets. Marcus Jones is also a very capable slot corner, but the weakness of this secondary is their safeties. Jalen Hawkins and Craig Woodson, two very young players, still kind of learning their way in the National Football League. So I think if the Patriots can have their way, Gonzalez plays, and they play a lot of man coverage in this football game, so keep your eye on that. Another big injury to keep your eye on this week for New England is right tackle Morgan Moses, who is wearing a walking boot, and he is not practicing there in Foxborough, at least not to this point in the week. We'll see how he progresses as the week goes on. But the depth on the offensive line here in New England is no bueno, all right? So if they have to go with a backup right tackle to go up against T.J. Watt, I think that this should be a great opportunity for Watt to get that first sack of the season, maybe even collect a couple of sacks, maybe get a forced fumble, really make a big-time impact on the game. Now, you can certainly expect him to get his usual double team. Last week, Seattle triple-teamed him a number of times. He's going to get the same amount of T.J. Watt respect and attention that he usually gets. But if Morgan Moses is not out there as that team's right tackle, expect Watt to really hopefully make an impact in this football game on Sunday. So let me know, over or under down there in the comment section. Will T.J. Watt have over or under 1.5 sacks versus the New England Patriots? Give me an O for over or U for under. Does TJ get multiple sacks this weekend? Let me know your answer down there in the comment section. Now, that's going to be it for today's edition of Steelers Talk. But before I go here, guys, one last thing. We did get some really bad news today. At the age of 56, Steelers writer Dale Lolley unfortunately passed away. And, I didn't know Dale, personally, but I have only heard great things about him. He was very well respected and loved inside of the Steelers media circle. And certainly all of our thoughts and prayers here at Steelers Talk go out to Dale Lolley, his friends, his fans, his colleagues, and of course his family as well. So Dale, thank you so much for everything that you've done for Steelers Nation, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much.